to the Entrepreneurship Networking Program. Your host, Mwila Jonathan Puku, and tonight we shall be talking about students to graduates to entrepreneurs. Remember, our aim is to encourage students to be able to start business even as they are in school, to ensure that they actually understand the business regulatory requirements. And tonight we're joined by a prominent young man, an accounting student, and also is pursuing some business. And actually is trying to open a company called Mula Group. Welcome, Mr. Elukena.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Thank you for the introduction. It's an honor to be here.
All right. We're very happy to be joined. As you know, that students are actually the youth that we want to have to actually start these businesses. So it's very good that we have young men that are actually starting businesses and they're looking to actually pay for their school and also to actually start doing business even as they graduate. So just get into it, Mr. Elukena. Tell us about Mula Group of companies. Okay, what is it all about?
So right now it's a network. As we get all the necessary paperwork done, right now it's a network of lots of financial professionals and small-time businesses that help out with admin services for small businesses. We partner with social media managers. We partner with different types of accountants. We partner with people who get down to the core issues that a lot of SMEs are struggling with. Guys who help out with helping them find finance, helping with small soft loans, like, from these small, they normally called Kaloba or some, those type of businesses, to help move out the key issues that, these businesses face.
Okay. So does it mean you also look at the marketing aspect? Yes. The fact that you are talking about trying to bridge the gap and to network with different businesses. So are we looking at do you look at also marketing as one of the products that you're actually doing? Because I heard you mention financial.
Yes, as well as marketing, because, for small businesses, having skilled work and, the ability to make a polished image of your company, to brand yourself, understand what a brand is, can be a challenge.
Okay.
As a small business, the spirit is there, but you cannot be everything. And those are the gaps which are trying to help out these small businesses with those type of services, to connect the guys who need the service and the guys who are able to provide it at a rate that is more friendly for these SMEs. Because, these guys, they can't afford to go to these really big, expensive places. Okay. They got to handle it at the basic level. I'm talking about your ordinary restaurant down the road, which doesn't have that type of income. So that's how we were getting a lot of students into that type of work. We're getting some fresh grads. Was maybe say that they're tired of waiting months without a job or something. Hey, you can start working with these guys, and that's pretty much the whole gimmick that's going on right now.
Okay. I know that as much as the idea is, of course, to try and make people get to do business, obviously there's some income related plan you have. What made you, as a student, to think of, let me start up something? Obviously, not to say that this is the type of product you wanted to start selling, but what made you feel, okay, I'm a student and I need to do something instead of just waiting to graduate and actually start a job?
Okay. The issue for me was it came from a crisis. Okay. At the point where funds are not too available. And as a man, you can't just say, okay, things are tough, and me cry about it. I noticed the gap. I cannot really get to very big people, but at where I am now, I can start with small services which can build up towards those much bigger projects.
Okay.
And you find that those small things, you find that, these smaller firms, it's really SME, the S in the SME, you find that they lack those things, and they can't really afford them. So you fill in the gap at a more friendly rate. And because it's the size of the company, the work is not even too much. When you find that you put it all together, it goes back to your school fees. It goes back to saying, okay, if I want to do something, I have my own standing on it. It allows you to grow into that state where you push your own fees, you can take care of yourself a little bit more. And those are the type of things which I feel as Zambians, we can even do as youth, rather than just waiting for a handout, which sometimes doesn't come,
Okay.
And you can't really grant that.
Okay.
We just have to allow God to strengthen us and, get things done. Really.
Okay. Obviously, fellow students out there in different schools want to start businesses and the good activities that they've come up with that they want to venture in. Why do you think it's very important for them to actually register those businesses? Okay. Maybe with PACRA, maybe with ZRA, and many other government agencies. Why do you think it's actually very essential for them?
Okay, I think
for
for
business?
one aspect is once you're registered, it allows you, it opens doors because because you're registered, you're connected to the legal advantages you have. The size of which you work, it also builds a track record for you, and it also protects you as an entrepreneur from any unnecessary problems.
Okay.
And it also allows you, not just on a rule basis, it also allows you to benefit from the standards which are there. It allows your work to be checked, to be counteracted, so people can allow you to be at a certain standard which is acceptable for society,
Okay.
and that's the beauty of being registered, is having your books all done and having all your paperwork in order. It means it even allows you to work with a much more free mind. And I think it just allows you to connect with the society a lot more because, if you've got all your paperwork done, you can easily go to these big organizations and look for funding or, look for a project because you've really done all the due diligence.
Okay. All right. Okay. Spoke in the earlier period of the show. You spoke about financial services and short-term financing. So, how is your group trying to assist develop the growth of these micro and small? Other than the services you were trying to actually give them, how do you think Mola is actually helping the SMEs and the micro companies to be able to actually develop?
Okay.
From the basic side of things, since you put it there, you start from the basic.
Okay, from the most basic thing is, we allow what we do by connecting. Really, one of the biggest things we do is really connect. If I was going to say there in a nutshell, which really makes it such a useful thing, is the connect. You find that where the gaps are within your business, maybe an entrepreneur is good at maybe making food, but they can't do everything else, and they don't have the resources to do everything else in-house. It gives them a small outsourcing option. We help them find small outsourcing options to help cover those gaps. If you're short on cash flow, you can't really go that much, but we know there's a guy one of the guys we work with, these microfin guys who do these loans. Hey, this guy is short on cash flow, 2-3 months, a small loan. This guy is trying to look for this type of money, this type of income. At the same time, those small things, which in Zambia, 97% of businesses are SME. And you find that a lot of them they face SME problems, which are the most three common, of course, funding and the ability to have skilled labor. Because sometimes people have the heart, but they can't afford the skill. And some people have the skill, but they can't find the work. Everybody's looking for these big jobs, big clients. Who's looking at the little guy? And that's the gap we're filling in. We're helping ensure the little guy, the little employee, the little service provider, the little business can all work together so they can grow together. Say 5 years from now, that guy used to do something part-time at his bakery, for example, can become the main guy at a much bigger chain. And that's pretty much the whole concept of fighting for.
Okay.
And as we grow, same process.
Okay, now that's perfect. But as you remember, we had a theme last year at the Agricultural Commercial Show, innovation through technology. I've just seen things are changing. Things are fast now. And, technology has played a very big role to that. So as yourself and also just as your company, how are you using technology to actually implement some of your objectives, maybe in the briefest way?
Okay. The briefest way I can tell is apps. I won't lie, as an app, a lot of apps on your phone do a lot of things. You can have QuickBooks, you can have different data services. And that's what we really are teaching a lot of SMEs about, the ones we work with. We get them onto digitalizing their stuff, instead of just having, we let them be aware of, for example, one simple app, which I love so much, like Canva. Sometimes even just a flyer on Facebook, you can make a really good flyer just off basic apps like Canva, InShot, and all those type of apps, for example, they allow you to make content which is also inspiring and really gets the job done compared to shoddy work, which is just forced. And that's why we've already got a couple of apps we're using for our work. But even now, also trying to develop our own in-house app, and that's the big project we're really fighting for. And just putting it up to good, and hopefully by the end of this year, latest, it can be up and we can be distributing it to our customers, just to continue the same work, but on a more digital point, because digital is at your fingertips. Because imagine if you could have all your access to your business on your phone. You can make your calls on your phone. You can track everything. You're seeing all of it on your phone. And only that happens through technology. Because if you don't have technology, you can't have anything. It's basic. You go back to writing and the old classic days, and that will be very slow. While your competitors across Europe, across other countries, are doing it different. Even within Zambia, how are you going to keep up with them? And how is us as a nation really going to start competing with them for using outdated techniques?
Okay. That's Mr. Elukan Amola, a student, but also pursuing some business. It's very encouraging that we have people that are actually in school and also trying to ensure that they're able to do some business. Extra income is very, very important. As we're closing the program, I just want to hear from you. Do you have any last words of encouragement, obviously, to some of your fellow students that wish to pursue some business?
Okay, I think one thing we need to take as youth, especially as youth students, start small. Like don't fear to be the best amateur. Be the best amateur. Be the best amateur for 2 years, and then you'll be the best semi-professional for a year, and maybe 2 years later you'll be the best professional. Then you'll be a master. Don't try and rush everything. Don't be afraid to take that job for 1.5 or 1 pin. All of that will just grow up your exposure. And just take it step by step. You'll get there. Just what a punch.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Elukan, for joining us tonight, and I hope to see you again. And best of wishes to your business.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, and see you next week.